How do you feel about body hair, specifically down there? How/when did you know Will was the one? Opinions on hookup culture. This is such an interesting one. Juicy chats. I'm feeling like I kind of want a little bit of a self-care evening. Today, I thought it'd be kind of fun to do almost like a slumber party style video. Like we're on FaceTime and have a little girl talk. I haven't done a girl talk video in a very long time, but also just sort of a general Q&A. I've had a lot of questions on Instagram recently about life. Like for example, you guys know I got engaged almost a year ago now, and I have barely spoken about wedding planning or any of that, so. It is so hot in London right now. I can only have cold drinks. I have a mochi on me. Yes, I love you. I actually got a lot of questions about contraception. My journey with contraception, if I've ever been on contraception. Every single person I talk to has such different experiences on different forms of contraception. When I was 17, that is when I decided I wanted to go on something. Most of the people I knew were on the pill, like some sort of pill. I know there's loads of different types. I went to my sexual health clinic and they actually encouraged me to go and get the implant, the contraceptive implant that sits in your arm. I think it actually puts quite a few people off because you do go through a tiny little surgical procedure. It's really not that bad, but obviously like that definitely is enough to put some women off. So I got the implant and I had that for about 7 years, and I literally only got it out last autumn, like September, October time. The implant's only effective for 3 years, so I did have 2 of them. But yeah, I just made the decision that being 24 now, I kind of just wanted to regulate my body hormonally, I guess, because I was someone who had super irregular periods. I wanted a regular cycle again, and when I came off it I was having period pain. Like I hadn't had any of that kind of thing since I was 14. Huge thing for me also was it impacted libido. So whilst I had the implant, I definitely had a lower libido. I know there are forms of contraception that aren't hormonal, for example like the coil, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, to finish off that answer, as of right now, I don't think that I'll go back on contraception. I 100% might change my mind, but yeah. I do want to quickly say thank you for your vulnerability with some of these questions. It means a lot that you want to hear my advice. Somebody asked ways to enjoy sex more. I've never actually finished with a guy, and this is something I really struggle with. Straight off the bat, I kind of want to say this is very normal. I don't know the exact stats, but I swear it's some crazy percentage of women that cannot climax from like heterosexual sex. Not like how it's portrayed in the movies where it's all steamy, you're ripping each other's clothes off and then you both finish at the same time. The biggest thing I will say that has also helped me, and I know has helped my friends, other women I've spoken to about this, the absolute key to learning how to have a better time in the bedroom with your partner is self-discovery, knowing your body. Spend time with yourself, self-pleasure. My favorite pleasure brand is LELO. I'm sure tons of you have heard about them. I would have had a way healthier sex life, relationship with my body, relationship with my partner, if self-pleasure and that whole discussion wasn't so stigmatized. It's always felt like, oh yeah, for guys it's normal, it's expected. For women it's shameful, it's not ladylike, it's disgusting, and it's just not true. Something I recommend to make it more enjoyable is to invest in a good vibrator. There's loads of different types. There's like a whole world to explore with self-pleasure, the tools you can use. I actually first heard of them when I saw someone I follow on Instagram talking about them. This was like 3 years ago, I swear, before I had seen any content or content creators like openly speaking about self-pleasure. It was so refreshing to see, and I'll always remember it was the brand LELO that they were talking about. They are the luxury pleasure brand. There's so much more to them than just selling toys and tools that help you with self-pleasure. They're all about self-care, and that whole movement. Self-pleasure absolutely falls under self-care, and they believe in the importance of understanding what your body can do, and most importantly, having confidence around your sexuality, your sexual health, and not feeling shame when it comes to self-pleasure. They have actually sent me this toy. This is the LELO Dot Cruise. First of all, this comes in different colors. It is very pretty to look at. I'll start there, but it does a lot more than just look pretty. This is what I mean by a sort of different style vibrator to what I have used previously. And the pinpoint style is actually designed so it helps you meticulously stimulate your targeted area. The tip is actually bendable. When it's on, the movement is designed to maximize pleasure. I really recommend. This thing is powerful and it looks so simple. I also love how much control you have over this. It isn't just one setting, it actually has 8 different settings. Tools like this help you feel empowered. They're also great for couples. Sometimes it can be really fun to bring these into the bedroom. If you want to check out the LELO Dot Cruise, I'll leave the link in my description bar. But yeah, a huge thank you to LELO for working with me on this part of the video. Also guys, make sure to use my code BeccaXLELO to receive either a bottle of LELO Personal Moisturizer, 12 LELO Hex Condoms, or LELO Toy Cleaning Spray when you make a purchase. What a bargain. Love a little free gift. So that is valid until the end of July. Someone asked, actually there were a couple of people that asked, how/when did you know Will was the one? It's such a weird concept, the one, and how it's supposed to kind of mean there's only one person on this whole planet that's right for you. But like, that's how it's meant to feel when you're in the right relationship, and I think that's how you know. Will and I, we've been together for 5 years. It's life and experiences when you go through all of that together, especially like we moved in together in 2019, and then 2020 there was lockdown, and that was a really trying time for couples, like spending that much time together. I believe in a healthy relationship you are purely being yourself, and you can be yourself around that person, vice versa. So you never kind of get drained or like your social battery dies. You also always have each other's backs and like genuinely think that person's really cool, think the world of that person. Our relationship has always been like, we've never stopped each other from achieving what we want in life. We've always supported and made those dreams and goals easier, and also like we, generally speaking, want the same things in life. Like we both want to get married and we both want kids. We're both quite career-driven people. Like he has so much respect for what I do as a less traditional, more risky career, and I have so much respect for what he does, which is he works in HR, he works in an office. As your relationship goes on, it is so important, if you've been in a long-term relationship, to actually spend quality time with each other. A huge lesson I've learned just watching TV in the evenings on the couch. That's not necessarily like quality time or date time together. I heard people say like that's such a trap that a lot of couples fall into. Still put time aside for like date night and dressing up for each other, trying something new together. I guess to answer the question of like when did I know, I feel like when you're in the honeymoon stage and you're really falling for someone, that is when you're like, oh my gosh, I could see myself with you forever. Those intense feelings happen in the honeymoon phase. Loads of couples don't move in together before they get married. Everyone's different, but for me it was a big thing to be able to live with him and just know we really work together as a team in that way, sorting things out, our strengths, our weaknesses, and how we complement each other. Opinions on hookup culture. This is such an interesting one. Juicy chats. I'm not that opinionated. That's a really boring answer. I really think it is so down to you. I never judge anyone for freaking their body count, for if they have one night stands every weekend. I do not think that defines a person. It is such a like case by case kind of situation. So, okay, sorry, my answer was really boring, but like for me, it's be safe, make sure you're doing things for the right reason, and it's like you want to do it. It's not like you feel like you owe it to someone. You tune into you and you respect yourself enough to make that decision for yourself, and you know why you're doing it. How do you feel about body hair, specifically down there? I don't like shaving, but I feel like I have to. You do not have to shave. I maybe get a little bit too passionate about this. I just think back to my younger self. I hate shaving. Everyone's floof is different, but for me, like if I am shaving almost every day, I am gonna get razor bumps. And then it's like, for what? Are you doing it for you? I don't think you are. That is literally your natural state. But yes, I think it's important to be fully comfortable with you the way you are. I remember in past relationships, I felt like I always had to be shaved down there because that's just what men expect. Was it painful the first time you had sex? Not painful, but not enjoyable. I'll say that. And I think that's pretty normal. I think it's also normal for it to be painful. I know it's normal to bleed a little. Do not worry about it. Do not take the first time to be an accurate reflection of the sex that you'll have for the rest of your life. The first time is always gonna be a little bit bumpy and maybe a little bit awkward. This is my idea of a perfect evening. I obviously don't normally wear a bathing suit in the bath, but that I would absolutely have a little nip slip if I tried to film this naked. This year I've definitely turned into a bit more of a bath girl. And also because it is hot in London right now, I've made the temperature like kind of cool, and I can't lie, it is so nice. Let's resume with some of your questions. I'm gonna move on to more kind of like general advice. I actually got a couple questions from people asking if I've ever suffered from panic attacks or anxiety. Everyone suffers with anxiety, obviously, but on completely different scales. I hope Will didn't mind me saying this, but he's someone who's had panic attacks before in the past. Speaking to him about it, it is like such a scary thing, the way your body reacts, how it almost just stops working. You are suddenly struggling to breathe, and like all these basic functions suddenly feel impossible. That is something I feel very lucky that I haven't come close to feeling. Last year was like one of the best years of my life, I feel like I can say, but also one of the hardest. Just overworking myself, and it was my first year in London. And even though I'm a city girl, I was born in Edinburgh, born and raised in Edinburgh, which is the capital of Scotland. It is nothing like London, and I completely get people at home who are like, oh my god, I hate London, I could never do London. I got a lot of questions actually about what's it like living in London. I remember there were actually a couple mornings where I was on the tube in rush hour at like 8:30 in the morning on my way to the office. Those 2 times were like the only times where my body was like physically reacting to being anxious and being overwhelmed without there actually being like a trigger or a certain thing happening in that moment. Like I was just going to work, like shortness of breath, this overwhelming wave of anxiety coming over me, and just knowing like I wasn't taking care of myself. Let's talk about body image, body confidence. Do I suffer with body dysmorphia? Someone asked me. And then I actually got another question saying, how do you cope with cellulite? And I found that quite a very specific, kind of surprising question. And actually, if I'm being really vulnerable and transparent here, it was literally a couple of days ago that I turned to Will and I was like, oh, my cellulite is annoying me. And I feel stupid when I have those thoughts, because I'm like, I would never think that about somebody else. We are our biggest critics. And I don't know why, body image is something I've been struggling with more than ever this year. I have never taken care of myself this much this year in terms of working out, and not necessarily like eating super clean, but I've been feeling my body a lot more. I've been a lot more like regular with meals, so in that way, healthy. And to me, that's healthy. I have never been so hateful towards my body before. A handful of my biggest insecurities were literally pointed out to me by other people. And I feel like saying that, you probably would jump to assume it's people on social media, like stupid comments. That's not. A stupid example, a boy in high school once told me that I had a big forehead, and that's something I did not think about. It didn't bother me As soon as you kind of realize like other people are noticing that about you, that instantly makes you insecure. But why do we want to look good for other people when it's like, that's something that didn't even bother me? Sure as hell, it's fair to say, social media does not help. Social media for anybody, I think, no matter how tough your skin is, social media, you're presented every single day with everyone's best version of themselves. I'm guilty of it. I'm like, oh, I look good in that photo, I feel good about myself, I'm gonna post it. We have such a curated feed, and that is what we're fed every day, people's best versions of themselves. You almost don't feel represented when you don't see cellulite on your feed, but you have cellulite and you see your cellulite every day. Also, oh my god, cellulite is, I feel like I'm not doing it justice by saying so normal, but like, it is nothing wrong with you. I swear cellulite, I saw TikTok and it was like, cellulite is like a man-made name for this thing that doesn't even exist. The healthiest mindset I've ever adapted, and when I am going through these kind of waves of like self-hatred, not feeling good, not feeling confident, it is so important to switch your mindset to, my body is amazing for what it can do, for what my body does for me. Opinions on filler / cosmetic procedures, plastic surgery. Someone asked, have you had anything done? I have a very chill approach and look on all of that, and it's very simple. Literally, if it makes you happy and you believe you're doing it for the right reasons, you're not doing it for anyone else, then I see it as fine. I've actually had one thing done, one filler procedure, which I've never spoken about on this channel, not because I was hiding it, even though like some of you might think it seems that way, but genuinely no one asked, no one has ever noticed, I've never had a comment. People in my life haven't even noticed. In months, it's literally almost been a year since I got it done. I can really confidently say in myself, like, I'm glad I did it, and I feel like I did it for the right reasons. It made me feel good about myself, it made me feel a little bit more confident. It's an insecurity I've had since I was like probably way too young to even care about what my face looked like. And I'm not gonna pretend that like marketing and seeing ads, social media, seeing other people get it done doesn't impact your decision, because it does. You are influenced, and that's another huge reason why I haven't spoken about it, because don't get me wrong, I know I'm not the biggest creator, but I do still have some power of influence, and heaven forbid I influence anyone to change anything about themselves. That's the main reason why I did not bring it up. I didn't vlog it. I had a non-surgical rhinoplasty. It's basically where they put filler in your nose and like the tip to lift it a little bit and just create a sort of like smoother bridge. I had a slight hump, and it was something that was really bothering me for years. I have a little face mask on. This feels like a proper old school slumber party. Hello, Mochi is joining us. You guys asked a bunch of like personal questions and life update questions, so we're gonna go through that. Wedding, when's the wedding? Are you even still engaged? Someone asked. Have you picked your bridesmaids? Have you got a date? Are you gonna vlog it? It was literally July last year that Will and I got engaged, and we're almost at a year. It's mad. But at the same time, like, yeah, that was gonna happen. I always knew I wanted a longer engagement, but the main reason was because we really were trying to prioritize buying in London this year, and there's been a couple things that have fallen through. Like, we're involved in a chain and an offer's fallen through, and it's just taking ages. A lot of people ask, how's the house hunting going, etc. House hunting, not great, because stuff has fallen through and it's just making the whole thing take a lot longer. I honestly thought that maybe it would be done by summer, and if things did go to plan, then we would literally be moving into a place this summer. But things are not going to plan, so I hope it'll still be this year, just end of the year. Wedding, yeah, so we were putting off wedding planning until the house stuff has happened, but honestly we've just come to the realization of like, we can't just keep doing that, because then wedding planning literally might not start until next year. We're really hoping it'll be summer 2025, so that's still a 3-year engagement, which I would personally consider long. I haven't asked any bridesmaids yet. I've only asked my maid of honor, who is my sister, so, and she like obviously was always going to be my maid of honor, she knew that, I knew that. So other than that, that's like the most official thing we've done for the wedding. Would you ever go back to your office job or feel like you need to get a full-time job? The plan is no. The plan is that this will sustain me, or just being self-employed is the plan for now. I'm building from there, which is really exciting but also really terrifying. And just the unpredictability of social media and that being my job. Can't believe that this is my job and it's so lucky, but of course there's the scary, less secure side to it. But things are going really well right now. So yeah, and thank you so much for sticking around. Tell us about the reality of being self-employed. I do not feel like being self-employed is as glamorous as it may look. Yes, your schedule is yours to fully take care of. You're also fully responsible for all tax and like national insurance, your pension. But once you get that ball rolling, it's okay. It is just like months are so different with the income that comes in. So important to save money. And also something I've spoken about before is like, it gets lonely working from home by myself and like I don't have a team. I also just don't want to complain because this is an incredible job. I met someone at a wedding like a few months ago and he was like, you upload 1 video a week and you make a living out of that. And I guess like on the face of it, that sounds so simple. I know how much goes into this and like how much work I put in without seeing a penny. And that's why I got a lot of questions as well about how do you get started with YouTube, advice on how to make YouTube a career. Someone literally asked that, and the truth is like, just try it, see if you even like it. Do not go into this thinking like it's gonna be your job, because if you're hyper focused on money with YouTube, your first 10 videos are probably not gonna get many views. If you're in it for the wrong reasons, really demotivating. But if you genuinely enjoy the process of creating content and you get good at it, you're willing to learn every week. Make stuff that truly makes you happy but also kind of pleases the algorithm, pleases your audience. What's your ethnicity? Why do you speak Spanish? I got a few questions on that because sadly my abuela passed away a couple weeks ago, my grandma, and I just posted a little message on Instagram and it was in Spanish, and a few of you asked me like, how do I speak Spanish? And it's obviously because my abuela. So my mom is Colombian, and therefore half of my family is Colombian. I'm half Colombian. The other half of me is just a mix of British, literally English, Scottish, Irish. I think I'm more English than Scottish or Irish, but yeah, half Colombian. So I'm more Colombian than anything else, which is really cool. It's something I've like been very proud of. Also really cool that I can like speak Spanish. I'm not fluent, but if you message me in Spanish, like I know what you're saying. I'm not always the best at writing. But yeah, that's how I speak Spanish. I'm gonna do a fire round. What's your comfort show? Probably Friends. How long did it take before your channel took off? It started to pick up after 6 months, and it took me 6 months to get monetized. Your fave country you visited so far? Probably, if not Colombia, because I'm obviously biased, but probably Japan. Japan is insane. If you ever get the chance to go, go. I went 5 years ago. That's where Will and I fell in love as well. It's a really special place to us, and I'm dying to go back. How did you and Will meet? We met at work. We used to work together. When's Mochi's sibling coming? I will think about second dog when we move into somewhere bigger, hopefully. But we can't even think about it right now, but I keep seeing all those reels where like a dog meets their new puppy sibling and it's so cute. Fave season? Definitely autumn. I don't know why, I just love the colors. I feel inspired in autumn. Do you have any allergies? Pistachios and cashew nuts. How old are you? 24. 25 in November. What's your height? 5'3". I'm a little bit short. Okay, that's a random question to finish off with, but there we go. Thank you guys for joining me on this little evening in my life. I am gonna go to bed now. But yeah, I thought this was nice, just, I don't know, to get to know me a little bit better, and also the whole girl talk advice section. I hope you guys liked it. It's definitely a little bit different. I love you guys so much. I literally can't even pout properly because this face mask is so set now. It's so hard, but yeah. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.